What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's Motorfest video, I'm going to be going over another important Affixes stat. Now, I would say a lot of these are probably going to be kind of situational. Like, for example, you might not have to use some of them, or even some of them might be like a funny test, or like even a different build on like a certain vehicle if you have way too many sets. But for this video, guys, I do want to go over one of the most important Affixes stats in the entire game. That is going to come down to the stat that we all know to come and love is going to be Pure. Now, Pure is going to be the kind of perk that you would most likely want to go, well, yeah, blocked. If I'm running a Chemist, that I probably should have Pure on my vehicle, or like, depending on the class, you probably want to have something like Pure on there, which I would say at this point is probably going to be fairly true, but let's be honest here, though, if you are running a set, guys, you're obviously going to want to have the most power that you can get. This is not only going to come down to, like, actually racing or, like, going after money in events, but the biggest thing ever here is going to come down to the lovely summits. We do know at this point you are going to want to have the most power that you can get out of that nitrous. This is also going to come down to the fact that people running Pure and Frenetic. Now the thing about Pure though is I would say it's going to be one of the most important Affixed stats ever. The reason why I say that is yes, you are running a Chemist set, you obviously want more nitro power. That is going to be the big thing coming out of Pure, so like, yeah, it is going to increase the nitro power, which is something you obviously want when using nitrous. Sure, you can run other things like resourceful, which I do have a video on that one. Surprisingly, some of the other perks are actually going to be pretty dang useful. Now, similar to the other fixed stats, though, Pure is going to have a maximum percentage of 35% if every single part is maxed out to 5%. Now, for me, currently, right now, I obviously do not, but I am going to be around a 32.2%, which is fairly decent. On top of that, though, guys, you can also head over to your Driver and Legend perk. You actually be able to have a 10% boost from that as well, which I would say is helpful. Now, I did end up going back into the Chemist set I did have for Alpha GP, which was a 32.2% before. I was like, you know what, let's go back into this and actually make it a 35 now. If you guys are running a full 35% boost on top of the driver perk, I would say 45% is going to be incredibly good for summits or even racing, but you really won't be able to get higher than that unless they add a special set to the game, which I would almost guarantee in the future we will most likely see those show up in summits, but for right now, guys, we will have to go with the 45%. Now, spawning outside here, guys, I will be testing out Pure right now to show how much it actually does increase the nitrous power. Now, we do know right now this is probably going to be fairly hard to actually, like, test, but you know what? I was like, let's go try this out with nothing active whatsoever. For example, right now on this, I am running a regular Loot Digger set, and then I did end up turning off the driver perk to not have the 10% there either. The second run, guys, I will turn the driver perk, then the third one I'll have everything with a 45% boost, but right now let's go do this here. So I am going to run through the nitrous a bit. Now, as I did mention before, it is going to be fairly difficult to actually really test this out because, well, you are measuring like the power of the nitrous going down or like, you know, actually having power added into the vehicle. Now, for the Alpha GP vehicles, these do around 250 miles an hour. So one of the ways I actually decided to really try this is to go into 7th gear, have my nitrous bar go all the way almost up to the top here, and then basically hit that to see how fast I get to around 220. So you will see right there with basically nothing whatsoever. It's not going to be incredibly slow, but you can definitely increase the power of it by running Pure. Now here we go for run number 2. I'm also going to be doing this now with the regular driver perk being at 10%. I'm also going to go into 7th gear again, guys, and basically bring the car all the way down lower. That way I can really see if it's going to make a difference here. Wow, that car got yeeted. Okay, so going all the way down here to 100 miles an hour, hitting gas now and hitting the nitrous. So you'll see right there that getting to 220 definitely did seem to be a bit quicker. Now, one thing I'm also going to do now is I'm actually going to try this being in 8th gear. So now doing around 100 miles an hour once again, this time being in 8th gear, let's hit the nitrous here. So right there you guys are going to see, obviously being in an extra gear like that, you're probably going to accelerate a little bit slower. One thing I would actually probably do there is most likely be in 7th. The second that thing redlines, put that thing into 8th gear. Now moving over to the final run here with the lovely Alpha GP, guys, I'm now going to have the 45% boost having a full Chemist set active. Now I'm also going to do this again with a different class to demonstrate this a bit more, but right now I'm going to go back down to around 95 miles an hour here in 7th gear. Let's go back down here, deaccelerating. So hitting gas now, hitting the nitrous. You guys will then see that yes, getting up to 220 miles an hour, you also do not go through all of the nitrous. And on top of that though, it's going to make you even be faster while using less nitrous, which honestly is a win-win. Now I did also want to do another run here with a hypercar because we do know the Alpha GP vehicles probably isn't the best way to actually... What was that car doing, bro? That car legit drove to the other side like it was normal. Huh, weird. But nonetheless, though, guys, I did want to actually do a hypercar test because, well, testing out only the Alpha GP class probably isn't going to be the best way to actually test it because the Alpha GP cars are insanely quick. So I was like, you know what, let's jump back into a hypercar right now. So for this, guys, I am going to jump back onto the highway going this direction here. That way I'm going to have a bit more room to really do this, but once again, I'm going to be in 7th gear here, running a full of 45%. So right now with a hypercar, let's do it. So right there, guys, running that, like, you're going all the way up. Look at that. 290 miles an hour running all of your nitrous. Like, that is going to be absolutely insane. You also know what I have to do? Let's do the exact same thing with no percentage whatsoever. You know, I'm not even going to lie here. I am actually really surprised how much that actually got my speed up to 290 miles an hour. So right now, let's run this again being in 7th gear. I actually want to bring this thing down to around 100 miles an hour again. So right now, guys, let's hit that nitrous. Now, keep in mind here, I am running no help whatsoever on this, so it's not going to have any percentage. Let's hit it. Okay, so it's actually going up decently. So I got up to 230 miles an hour there. So you'll definitely see a difference. Having Pure does make you faster. I would actually say, guys, having a maxed out Pure set on any Chemist is probably going to be one of the most important builds you can run on any of them. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm also going to be testing out other ones. Why does all the AI cars keep doing that? That one just drove off the road and disappeared. Nice, interesting. But besides all that, though, guys, I think we can all agree at this point that having a Chemist set with Pure is probably going to be a must. Not only for, like, racing and stuff, but my goodness, for a summit. That would make one of the biggest differences ever. I also do want to mention, by the way, I will be doing the best part builds for every single class in the game. And on top of that, going over other Affixes stats to really see if they're actually worth using.